Hey, great day to be in New York with developers. I'm Robin Ginn. I'm the executive director of the OpenJS Foundation. We are hosted at the Linux Foundation, and we are essentially the neutral home for JavaScript and web technologies. So really delighted to be here. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Daria. I'm a backend tech lead at Wix, currently working on the Wix Ecom platform.
Hi, and I'm Jody McNamara, and I'm a partner at Socially Adept Solutions, along with my partner here. And we are a Wix agency, Wix partners, and Wix developers. I have a long history in product development going back into the 80s and all the way up.
Hi, I'm Maddy McNamara, the other partner at Socially Adept Solutions. I am the design lead since 2016 on all of our projects, and yeah, excited to be here.
Great. So we're going to talk about human-centered development. And, you know, I've been working in open source since about 2008, and it took me sort of a long time to sort of get over that, you know, kind of insecurity that I wasn't like a real contributor. But it was Linus Torvalds back in, I think, 2017 was speaking at an event. He invented, of course, the Linux kernel and Git, and he said, you know, at the end of the day, for any open source project, it is users that matter, and the folks who are using the software we build. And so there's a lot of skills that are outside of Linus Torvalds' expertise, actually, that contribute to that. So my question for each of you is, why is it important to consider who is using the software that you're building? Yeah.
So I think for me as a developer, it's super important to understand who our users are and what their needs are. And so to make sure that we are creating the right products for them, for the way they want to use them. I think at Wix it's very important for us to talk to our users all the time and get feedback. And we also look a lot at the data of how the users use the system and analyze it and try to understand what the real needs are. Because at the end of the day, we want to feel like we're building real products that people need. We don't want to build something that no one is going to use. And meeting our users, like this conference that has been, for me, it's been amazing to meet people that are actually using our products and to see their reaction for all the new features. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely what you just said, that the end user is everything to us and our clients, that, you know, we can build something that is fantastic and using all of Wix's, you know, suite of products, but if it's not going to work for the end user, it's not going to work at all. So we really need to make sure that we understand exactly who our user is, exactly how their business operates, really go in and dive around to all of their specific needs before we dive into how we're going to build it. You know, if I designed a website exactly how I wanted to for every client, we just have websites that look pretty much all the same. And that doesn't necessarily work for each client. Each client's so specific in their needs.
If I could tell you how many times Maddy will bang her head against the wall because her design doesn't match exactly what the you know, we really need to dig in with the client, as I'm sure you guys all know. And this conference has been amazing for us because we can see, we keep nudging each other and mentioning a client, like, oh, we could use this here, we could use this there. So it's really been great for us, too.
Awesome. Yeah, and when I think about the different people using the software, I know when I think about sort of their backgrounds, their nationalities, their orientations, their identities. And so, you know, I think McKinsey research has proven over several years, they researched 1,000 companies across 15 countries that diverse teams build better software, more profitable, more agile. Diverse teams make bolder decisions, which is pretty amazing. So when you think about kind of the change, what changes have you seen in the industry to be more responsive to sort of that broadening community that you're seeing? Yeah.
Okay, so we really do need to be cognizant, and you know, so here we are with the agency. We're both women, and So where's the diversity there? But we really, as you guys know, all of our every single project is a collaboration, right? It's really a collaboration with the client. And you really need to allow them to give you their information. And that's where we see our diversity. We really need to let them speak through us. So you have to be open and you have to listen really hard. And also on the diversity topic, I can't help but mention this, which was a surprise to us as we collaborated, was our age difference was a huge asset because, now with the history of the internet, the history of websites, you've got an extremely broad range, and you've got a really broad range of how people approach websites. So we can check ourselves on, are we encompassing everyone? Can everyone use this website? And we use our age difference to do that. Do you want to?
Yeah, absolutely. Our favorite example with clients is, how the basic understanding of, are you going to scroll down a website or are you going to use the menu structure? It really, how people interact with websites falls on when Facebook came into your life. Were you in your adolescence, were you in high school, or were you, an adult working in the industry and that was some social media thing that you didn't pay attention to for a few years? And Facebook and, all of the social media that has come after that has really changed the way we operate around websites. With scrolling versus, just clicking in. But in terms of where, things are going and how things are progressing, I think we have had obviously a few turbulent years in the world, and that breeds innovation. Every time there's some sort of upheaval, new things are coming out, new problems are being solved, new problems are arising that need to be solved. And in just the general technology universe, there's just so much innovation happening right now. And we're really shifting towards not how far can we go, how much can we push the boundaries, but how can we make it more usable for individual people and individual companies, not just, breaking down walls and, being a bull in China shop, but are we protecting our users? Are we making sure that this is the best way to do all the things that they need done for their business? So I think that we're getting into a really interesting space with that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think having diverse teams is very, very important. Age difference, but also different educational backgrounds, people, that are self-taught, people that went to university. It gives different perspective. Also, I think for us as a big development group, I think we have people that came from corporates, people that came from startups, all kind of different backgrounds, and it gives different points of views. I think the worst thing you can have is a meeting where everybody agrees. If everybody agrees, then something is wrong. Yeah. You want to hear different opinions and be able to make decisions after you heard all kind of ideas. So it's very important.
Yeah, I've definitely seen it trending in the right direction for sure. We have the Node.js project, which maybe I think probably many of you are quite familiar with and use. I know you use it, right? So, and we've even seen like our board of directors go from 0%, 3 years ago, diversity to 40%, seeing more and more, diverse folks come in. The Node.js project, we're having a hackathon at Grace Hopper in a couple of weeks. So I think, but it's very deliberate work. We take hard goals around those things. Yeah. And just one other interesting aspect, have you all heard of the Inclusive Naming Initiative? It's something that a lot of the open source projects are doing, including Node.js and many others at our foundation, to remove unfriendly language in your GitHub repos. So whether it's master-slave or anything that's too, I think we're trying to move to sort of more non-gender, non-binary on the gender side. So really interesting work taking place if that's something you're interested in. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about diversity and, why is that important to you? Tell me about sort of your your journey a little bit, your experiences. So good ones. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to hear about them. No.
Good journey.
Yeah.
So I'll connect it a little bit to my experience in Wix. So I've been at Wix for 11 years now. And when I joined, I was the only woman on the backend team. And it's been like that for my first 2 years. And I was used to it from previous works, but it was a little bit, it's a little bit strange. And I was very happy as the team grew that we became much more diverse, and today we have many women working. And as the company grew from a small startup to the big company it is today, I think today it's much more inclusive, and there are a lot of people from very different backgrounds. And it changed the experience for me. I feel much more at home. I mean, I felt good to start with. I wouldn't have stayed for 11 years otherwise. Yeah. But I feel better today. Also, I think when small startups start, a lot of times it's a lot of single people. But today I have 3 little kids, and I want to work in a place that respects my family and gives me time to be with my family and not be in the office all the time. And I feel the industry is really moving that way, and it's very important to me.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Oh boy, so I've seen a lot of changes from the 80s. The development team that I worked on for a very large software company, we had it was a company that had a proprietary database product and then a suite of business applications that sat on that database. I worked in applications development, and these were large-scale systems that are used still, actually some still in use today at places like Ford Motor Company or Fidelity Investments. But the interesting thing that, Robin, that you reminded me of, which I hadn't thought about in a really, really long time, was the screen design. This was the beginning, really, of, full screen presentations. And the screen design, our team tended to try to cram as much data onto that screen as was humanly possible. And they just looked awful. And it were very difficult to navigate. And that was where we would see the arguments with the team. And, the team was, I would say 80% men. But it was that struggle to say, the clerks that are using this software they are not going to understand this at all. And so we had to develop a team that actually I headed up the team that controlled all of the screen design and also all of the internal coding standards for 200 applications development programmers. So, and you've seen it inch closer to, every year it inched closer to, user friendliness and making this stuff available for everyone, and that you could really understand it. And understanding hierarchy, where somebody's going to navigate to, it was in its infancy back then, and obviously it's changed. And that's something that we strive, with our team, we really strive to, that hierarchy is very important, especially as our clients scale up. The larger the business, the more information, the more stuff that is going to be on that website, and you have to navigate it. I had a mentor who used to say that websites should be intuitively obvious to the casual observer. And that is sort of the rule that we stand by.
We do. We probably mention that in every just intro meeting for new clients. We're like, we want this to be intuitively obvious to the casual observer. But
high bar.
In terms of our journeys, if you will, I can only speak to what I've experienced. So it's, and you don't want to go off too far, but we experience a lot of assumptions based on our age. People don't necessarily expect that Jody is going to be the one who's the developer. I'm going to be the one that's the designer. There's a lot of assumptions based on our age. There's a lot of assumptions based on the fact that we're both women. But after those hurdles get jumped and they realize they hire us what we're doing. But the most important thing is going back to the client and going back to the human center of it all, that we can't necessarily speak to the diversity of some of our clients and the diversity of their teams, whether it is racial, economic, gender, whatever that diversity speaks to. So constantly going back to them, constantly going back to what is the source, what is the root of their company, what is their mission, and really diving in with them about what is important, how do we make sure we are showcasing how important this is on the website. Recently, we were talking to a client who said that their website is the front door to their business, and we loved that phrase. So it's really important to make sure that the front door to their business is reflecting who they are. And since we can't always speak to that diversity, we need to make sure we're immersing ourselves as deeply as we can in their life and in their business so that can be reflected.
Cool. I love conferences like this because it's just nice when people just kind of take that opportunity to pause and really invest in themselves, invest in the broader community. And, we just had our JavaScript conference in June, and I don't know if you know Rachel Neighbors. They're a big documentation sort of expert, was at Meta, now at AWS. And Rachel talked about the human API. So what's really important about how do you share information and teach each other and acknowledging everybody's differences. It's on our YouTube channel if you want to check it out. But if you think about the developers in the room today, what are some good ways for these folks to really kind of future-proof their careers?
I'll go again. I think future-proofing is really, it just comes down to learning and being curious and asking questions, and that's the root of it all. I, back in college, had a professor senior year who said, this is the last time that you are going to be required to learn, and don't let your learning stop here. That's the worst thing you can do. So, you're all here, you're all learning, you're learning brand new things every day, but I think staying up on trends, making sure you're understanding where the technology is going, asking questions, is this the best way to do this? Can I do it better? I think that's just the best way to stay on top of everything.
Yeah, and actually, Robin, you can speak to some of the new tools. There are always new tools that are going to make our life easier, better, faster, everything. Well, blocks is going to do that, but outside of that, to keep learning, keep looking. And then on the client side, don't be afraid to dig in. I think our clients, our business is largely referral now at this point, and we may seem annoying at first because we really dig in and we really need to understand your business, and we have to get all of the information. We sometimes will have clients who are very knowledgeable, but think that they understand it completely, and they'll only give us a small picture. This is what I want on the website. And then invariably, they'll come back and say, well, let me ask you this. Could this do X, Y, and Z instead of A, B, and C? And it's like, well, if we had known that at the beginning, we might have structured this a little bit differently. So getting all of that information and really becoming friends, like having friendly conversations about their business and what their needs are, really, really helps us to develop that site.
Yes, so I think also learning definitely. But also finding a community, a developer community to be part of is very important. So if you're, a developer on Wix and part of this great community, that's amazing. But also, I think there are a lot of local developer communities, and you need to find one where you feel comfortable, you don't feel intimidated by the community, and I think it's very, very important. I'm part of a women's developers community in Israel, and I find it very inspiring. I also volunteer in the community, and I think it's a big part of my growth, of my career, is the back I'm getting from the community. So I think it's important.
Agreed. We did some research at the Linux Foundation on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and one of the the results was 82% of people feel welcome in developer communities. And you would think that's great, right? No. Why do the 18% not feel welcome? right? Who are those 18%? Well, we found they're mostly from underrepresented communities. So still a lot of work to do for sure, yeah. We love the web at OpenJS, and we love building healthy communities, and that's sort of what we're talking about. So what are you excited about for the future of the web? Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Go for it. I know it's a big question, but I know you've had time to think about it.
It's a big question. I think I'm curious to see where it's going to go. I don't know if all the metaverse talk is going to really take place. I think the real world is here. But I do think a lot more of the commerce, of running a business, everything it will move to the web. And also we see the world. I mean, I think COVID showed us in the best way that it's a really small village and everything affects us all. And I think the web is a big part of this revolution. And I think that's the future of making everything very global. And I was just talking to a colleague this morning that a few years ago we would come to New York and we would go shopping. And now we feel like we don't need that. We can order everything we need to our house in Israel. I mean, even we don't live in the States, but whatever we need, we just order from Amazon. It comes to my house. I don't feel the need to go on a vacation and go shopping. The world is a really small place now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I just want to tag on to something Maddy said earlier about that there's a shift, and a shift happening to not be the bull in the china shop, not try to do this breakout thing, but to protect our clients, which is what brought us to Wix in the first place, to be honest. Wix always protects the websites, and that was really paramount to us as a small group. I don't need to be chasing down viruses, so it was always great. But I think it's moving in that direction, which is more people-centered, human-centered, to kind of corral things and protect us a little bit.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Definitely so much is happening in tech. So much is always happening in tech, right? It's an ever-evolving thing for the past 30 or so years in this age we're in. But as I said before, definitely getting back to, and what you were saying, the human side of it, and so much is changing, so much is happening, so much innovation is happening, and that doesn't necessarily need to be for a specific person. I think there's a way more diverse group in the world out there using all technology products, and making sure that it fits for everyone. I mean, I assume everyone was here yesterday. Flexibility is paramount to what Wix is doing right now, and making sure that it's, not these box solutions that were fantastic and worked for us for so long, but now it's really opening up the gates to so much more on what we can do for making it work for clients. And I think that is just going to be fantastic, and changing and making sure that everything is as great for the client and as optimized as possible.
Yeah. One of the interesting things I've been seeing, and it seems weird to say that security is a future trend, because security's always been really critical, but I think we're seeing kind of greater impact across the world. Equifax in 2017 had 148 Americans lose their data. I mean, UK, around the world. And the Linux Foundation just created the Open Source Security Software Foundation. $12 million has been raised so far, but that's probably a fraction of what will be raised, because you'll see government start to kick in. President Biden has a directive on security. So for me, it's been really fascinating to see an area where the company and the international borders are really just sort of dissolving, and people are working on things together. And yeah, we were fortunate that Node.js is the pilot project. So it's really great to have the greatest minds in tech, bringing kind of that resources and support to the Node project. So that's been pretty fun to see. Yeah. Cool. So we talked a little bit about and we were having a discussion yesterday sometimes about sort of like that feedback loop, and it's so great to have that feedback loop with developers. But we were kind of laughing like, don't you all feel like tech support sometimes? But, yeah.
We definitely do. Yeah, I mean, clients constantly, things aren't working exactly how they want to, and we were joking yesterday about how if you can't replicate it, it doesn't exist. I'm sure a lot of you feel that way, that if I can't see the problem, I can't fix the problem. And for us, we stick to that, and we're like, if we can't find your problem or see it, we're definitely not sending it off to Wix, because we're going to get that answer from support, which we love. Support's gotten so great. But no, definitely feeling like tech support comes in a lot.
Yeah, I don't know about all of you, but we do, we do builds, builds large and small, and then we do offer maintenance to our clients, and that maintenance involves tech support whenever they have an issue. Sometimes it's a self-inflicted wound, but sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it's a little glitch. But we are. Oh yeah, we do feel like tech support a lot. As you
Yeah, I feel the pain. Even inside working in Wix, and I have an issue, and I try to recreate it for the QA found an issue, and they're trying to show it to me, and it never recreates when I have a look. I call it the observer effect. It disappears when someone else observes it.
Wow. Absolutely. Well,
we're always, can you send me, just send me a little screen share to take a little video. And how many times? It's more than 50%.
Well, this is like our public service announcement, to replicate things. Yeah, I'm proudly wearing my GitHub shirt today, and I know one of my board members will be happy because he calls a lot of folks like vampires on GitHub who just want to have you all fix everybody's problems without giving any context or details or ways to replicate it. So, yeah.
The thing on the page didn't work anymore.
It didn't work. Fix it,
hey, I'm
please.
missing a lot of information here.
I know. Cool. Well, there's been a lot of exciting announcements in the today and yesterday here. So what are you most excited about?
Oh, what are
I'm
we
sure
most
you. Yes, a bunch. I'm sure.
Yeah, very excited. So I think for me as a developer, because I've been working like crazy to get all the new features of the e-com platform, of the e-commerce, so I'm really immersed in that world, and I also know our great plans that we have for the next year, and I'm very excited about it. I think we're already opening so many more opportunities for our clients, and speaking to people here, it's amazing to see how we are helping them create better sites for the customers. And I think it's really very exciting, the future of e-commerce on our platform at Wix. Very exciting.
Oh, well, you are helping. So thanks. Thank you so much. Everything has been amazing, but Blocks is going to, as you say, it will streamline the development process, absolutely. We're all, where have I done that before? I know I did a version of this. Where was it? Oh, yeah. And then you're going and grabbing it. Now we can have all that. We were already conspiring after the first morning about how we were going to incorporate Blocks and just start that process of getting stuff into Blocks so that we can reuse. But I have to say, the e-commerce, from our client's perspective, the e-commerce is a game changer for us. We do a lot of custom pages. We have done a lot of custom pages for e-commerce. And no, I don't want it to look like that. I want it to look like this. Maddy designs a page, and then we try to, can we bring the cart in? No, that's really not going to work. Or maybe we get the cart, but okay, can we finally get the end of sale information? It's never exactly right for that client, right? And that you have compartmentalized this, and that we can pick and choose and say, no, we don't want to do. We'll do our own cart, but we want to do we'll want to use this checkout. That's amazing. It's really a game changer for us.
Yeah, I think every everything that we've attended over the past 2 days, we're just nudging each other, being like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing for this client. Oh, we can use this over here. So everything, I think, I actually said to Jody last night at dinner, I was like, how we're working in a year is probably going to be completely different how we're working right now, just because of all the announcements over the past few days. It's just going to completely revolutionize how we are working with clients. So we're very excited about that. And I mean, yeah, I don't want to be a spinning wheel, but Wix Blocks is going to be amazing. The e-commerce platform, what you have released this morning seems amazing. We have some clients who are really desperate for their own internal dashboard, and that will be fantastic. So yeah, I don't want to say everything, but absolutely everything.
She really did say that last night, too.
Yeah,
We really did talk about that.
Yeah, that's super cool. I know conferences are great to learn, but I know for developers it's a great opportunity to ship, right? And so congratulations to everyone who shipped projects and products today. Yes. Yeah. 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 Great. We're open to take questions if you have any, or you're also welcome to start the hallway track. I see we have a question. Meredith can take it.
Hi, my name is Du Aquino. I use Wix for quite a long time now, but your e-commerce storefront is not really sophisticated enough. So maybe you can upgrade it a little bit more, like Burberry type kind of style, you know, like especially the checkout form.
Yeah. So
Excuse me, what you showed yesterday is been upgraded,
yes.
but can you take that into another level?
Yes, so we spoke about it a little bit yesterday. The breakout session, we are taking it a little bit upper level. We're going to have the checkout being a lot more customizable on the UI, without code, just settings, and it's a very big project. It will come further along, but it's already being worked on, and it's the next big thing, is the checkout.
The reason why I said that, because I own the patent of my product, it's patented, and I know my competition. So for me to bring it up to my level, like, because I have a place on 5th Avenue, right, 57th Street. So for me to bring my product on that level, to match my product, I want to make sure I'm using Wix to be the same level. Those kind of questions.
Well, we're working very hard to up the level of all of our products.
Cool.
Thanks. So I'm not a developer. I'm a CEO of a digital agency. And I got to say, I'm really surprised someone from open source is here, and that's the core of my question. So we saw a lot of things where we're opening the source code. GitHub, community was mentioned, but it's still a proprietary platform. So one thing is, how do you justify using a proprietary platform when things like GeoCities were very similar to Wix, and they're gone? So how do you justify that to your customers? And doesn't that put your business in a very vulnerable position?
Yes, so so I'm not going to speak for the whole of Wix. Obviously, question for management. But I will say that we contribute a lot of projects to the open source community, a lot of projects that are developed in the developer community, especially around React, and are open sourced. We try every time we have a project that we feel is very matured, and we try to open it as an open source project so that other people can also use the code that we've written, and we are actually putting a lot of effort into it. It's not always easy because all our projects are built on our internal frameworks. So we actually have developers dedicate time so to make sure that we make a version that we can open and maintain it and keep it up to date. And you're welcome to check out. We have an open source page with all our open source projects. We have quite a lot, and we keep updating them.
Yeah, I was on your GitHub page this week. Yeah, lots of stars, lots of contributions, React templates and calendars and things like that. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah.
Just to, we are confident in Wix's ability to sort that out. That's sort of more of a upper management question, and we don't work for Wix. And, yeah. So, but having gone through processes at different times for various clients where we have a problem that we'd like to solve, and we bring it to our account manager, who brings it to development, and anyway, it gets escalated, and finally we do wind up on a Zoom call with some people from development. I have to say, I'm always incredibly impressed at the concern for security and what you guys can and can't do within the scope of the platform. Really, it's always been very impressive. And sometimes the answer of what we're trying to accomplish is a hard no, but I always respect that because there's a reason. So, yeah.
Great.
Good morning, guys. So one of the things that we've been noticing with our agency is that clients are getting smarter too. They've been asking for way more complex things. Something recently that happened is a Wix website client asked us to integrate an Ethereum wallet through MetaMask with their website. And these were words that we didn't know most clients knew, but we were able to do it. So I'm interested to know from Dahlia, as well as from the agency, what are some of the complex feature requests you're seeing coming in that you need to be able to do to be ready for the future?
Yes, so what we do, I'll tell you a little bit about our process. So we have, obviously, we get feature requests, and we also have our product managers. They go and meet with different businesses, and they want to try. They don't want to look at the small feature request. They want to try and understand. It's a little bit like you said before. That we want to try and understand what's the problem, what's the pain, what are we trying to solve, and what's the bigger picture. And I think as we looked into it and we tried to make small solutions, we understood that we can't make solutions for everyone, especially since the business is global, and then every country has its own regulations and its own needs. You know, even I worked a little bit in the shipping world, so different countries have completely different ways of shipping. I mean, in the US, you're used to getting your parcels delivered to home, but in France, people have boxes, and they deliver them to a box, and then they go and pick it up from there, and each country is very, very different. And it's hard for Wix to give a solution for everyone, and that's why we shifted the way we're thinking about it, and we moved into being a platform with APIs that anyone can extend, and we're hoping to have a lot of apps that use the APIs and developers that use our APIs and give solution for anything you need. So I guess the answer is it's really hard for us to know. That's why we're trying to open as many APIs and to give you the freedom to be able to solve anything you need. So we'll just open all the APIs of the platform, and then we'll have partners that will write applications on top of it to give solutions in the different countries, in the different needs. And because at the end of you can't give solution for everyone. You can't solve. And if we make it an open platform, then we're giving you the ability to solve whatever you need.
Great.
Yes, and there are going to be developers here that are going to use blocks, and they're going to create a great solution for something, and then they will share it or sell it to other people in the community, and some people that don't want to write code will just take it and put it in their site and use it. So I think that's the way forward that we see as our vision. That's the way that will give a solution for everything by letting the community really contribute and also monetize from it.
That's a great thing about open platforms. Yeah. Great. Well, thank you, everybody. Grace, are you going to come back up and give folks some instructions? Really appreciate it. Yeah.